Welcome back, car enthusiasts. Today we're diving into the future to bring you the 3 worst and 3 best SUVs you should consider buying in 2025. The SUV market is constantly evolving with new models and technologies emerging every year. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through the exciting world of SUVs. Coming in at number 3 on our list of worst SUVs to buy in 2025 is the worst SUV #3 name. Now, before you worst SUV #3 name fans grab your pitchforks, let me explain why this SUV has earned a spot on our list. It's not just about personal preference, there are some serious flaws here. First, let's talk about the exterior. At first glance, it might seem okay, but the devil is in the details. I'm standing here looking at it and I just can't get over the awkward grille and the mismatched design elements. It's like they were trying to be bold, but ended up with something that looks confused. It's like they were going for a futuristic aesthetic, but ended up with something that looks like a mishmash of different ideas that just don't work together. And don't even get me started on the build quality. There are visible gaps and inconsistencies that make you question the craftsmanship. It's just not doing it for me. Okay, so maybe the exterior isn't its strong suit, but what about the interior? Sadly, it doesn't get much better. One word, disappointing. The materials just feel cheap and there's just this overall sense of mediocrity. The seats are uncomfortable and the layout feels outdated. I mean, come on, for this price point, you'd expect a little more luxury and refinement. Now let's talk tech. The infotainment system on this thing is a nightmare. It's slow, unresponsive, and the menus are about as intuitive as a complicated maze. You spend more time trying to figure it out than actually using it. Honestly, it feels like an afterthought, but hey, maybe it drives like a dream, right? Well, not so much. The worst SUV #3 name is powered by engine specs that feels downright anemic. It struggles to accelerate and doesn't inspire confidence on the road. It'll get you from point A to point B, but it just doesn't offer the refinement, technology, or driving experience you'd expect from a modern SUV. In a market full of options, this one just doesn't make the cut. Well, folks, we've arrived at number 2 on our list of SUVs to steer clear of in 2025. And this one might be a bit of a surprise. It's the worst SUV #2 name. Now, I know what you're thinking, what you think people would say about this SUV being a surprise on the list. And on the surface, you might be right, but trust me that there are some fatal flaws here that land it firmly in our number 2 spot. Let's start with the elephant in the room, mention the most significant drawback of this SUV. In this day and age, it's simply unacceptable for a modern SUV to explain why that drawback is a problem. It's a deal breaker for me, and it should be for you too. But that's not all. The worst SUV #2 name also suffers from, mention another issue with this SUV. This issue has plagued, mention the brand or model, for years, and it seems they just haven't learned their lesson. The worst SUV #2 name is a classic case of a good idea poorly executed. It had the potential to be a contender, but it ultimately falls short due to some critical flaws. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the SUV that claims the dubious honor of being the absolute worst SUV to buy in 2025 is the worst SUV #1 name. Pause for dramatic effect. Yes, you heard that right. I know. It's shocking, isn't it? You're probably thinking, how could this be? How could such a well-known brand produce something so disappointing? What you would expect people to say about this SUV being the worst. It's almost unbelievable, but let's dive into the details. Well, my friends, buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting. You won't believe some of the choices they made. The worst SUV #1 name is a masterclass in missed opportunities and baffling design choices. It's almost as if they went out of their way to make it bad. Where do I even begin? There are just so many issues to talk about. Okay, let's start with mention the most egregious issue with this SUV. This one flaw alone is enough to make you reconsider. I mean, seriously, who thought this was a good idea? It's mind-boggling. It's like they make a comparison to something absurd and said, yeah, let's put that in an SUV. It's almost comical. And speaking of baffling design choices, have you seen the interior of this thing? It's a disaster. It's a symphony of describe the negative aspects of the interior. Nothing seems to fit together properly. The materials feel about as premium as make a comparison to something cheap, and the ergonomics are all over the place. But the real kicker, the driving experience. It's almost like they didn't test it at all. The worst SUV #1 name drives like make a comparison to something that drives poorly. It's a nightmare on wheels. The steering is vague, the brakes are spongy, and the ride is about as comfortable as make a comparison to something uncomfortable. It's a trifecta of terrible. It's a poorly conceived, poorly executed SUV that should be avoided at all costs. Trust me, you don't want to waste your money on this. Do yourself a favor and just cross it off your list right now. There are far better options out there. Okay, enough with the negativity. Let's shift gears and talk about some SUVs that actually deserve your hard-earned money. These are the vehicles that stand out in a crowded market, offering a blend of style, performance, and value. Coming in at number 3 on our list of the best SUVs to buy in 2025 is the best SUV #3 name. And let me tell you, this SUV is a breath of fresh air. It combines rugged capability with modern elegance. The first thing you'll notice about the best SUV #3 name is its describe a positive aspect of the exterior design. The sleek lines and bold stance make it a head-turner. It's a handsome SUV that manages to be both positive adjective and positive adjective. Whether parked or in motion, it exudes confidence. The designers clearly put a lot of thought into the details, and it shows. Every curve and contour has been meticulously crafted, but the real magic happens when you step inside. The cabin is a sanctuary of comfort and technology. The interior of the best SUV #3 name is a masterclass in describe the positive aspects of the interior. From the premium materials to the ergonomic layout, everything is designed with the driver and passengers in mind. The materials are top-notch, the fit and finish is impeccable, and the overall ambience is one of describe the positive feeling of the interior. It's a place where you can truly relax and enjoy the ride. The infotainment system is intuitive and responsive with a crisp, clear display that's easy to read at a glance. It integrates seamlessly with your smartphone, and with features like mention some noteworthy tech features, the best SUV #3 name has everything you need to stay connected and entertained on the go. Whether it's navigation, music, or hands-free calls, it's all at your fingertips. Whether you're navigating city streets or cruising on the open highway, the best SUV #3 name always feels confident and composed. Its performance is as impressive as its looks, making it a top choice for 2025. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, well, the second most anticipated moment. Coming in at number 2 on our list of the best SUVs to buy in 2025 is the best SUV #2 name. This SUV is firing on all cylinders, delivering a winning combination of, mention the key strengths of this SUV. Let's start with the design. The best SUV #2 name is a head-turner with a describe the exterior design in detail. It's the kind of SUV that commands attention wherever it goes. But the best SUV #2 name is more than just a pretty face. It's also packed with innovative features that make it a joy to live with. For example, there's the describe a notable feature and explain why it's good. And then there's the describe another notable feature and explain its benefits. Thanks to the mention any noteworthy suspension or handling features, the best SUV #2 name handles like a dream even when you push it hard through the corners. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the SUV that claims the coveted title of the absolute best SUV to buy in 2025 is, drumroll, the best SUV #1 name. This SUV is the total package, offering a winning combination of style, performance, technology, and practicality. It's the SUV that checks all the boxes and then some. Let's start with the exterior. The best SUV #1 name is a stunner, with a describe the exterior design in detail. It's the kind of SUV that makes you stop and stare every time you see it. But the real magic happens when you step inside. The interior of the best SUV #1 name is a sanctuary of luxury and refinement. The materials are exquisite, the craftsmanship is impeccable, and the attention to detail is second to none. It's the kind of cabin that makes you feel like you've arrived. But the best SUV #1 name is more than just a pretty face and a luxurious interior. It's also a technological tour de force packed with cutting-edge features that make every drive a pleasure. For example, there's the describe a standout tech feature, and then there's the describe another impressive tech feature. The engine specs delivers breathtaking performance, and the handling is nothing short of phenomenal. So there you have it, folks. The top 3 best and worst SUVs to buy in 2025. Whether you're looking for a family hauler, a weekend warrior, or a luxurious daily driver, there's an SUV out there for everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates on the best and worst cars in the market. See you next time.